Hello, today on the Bad Back Gardener we're going to be digging up our potatoes out of the raised bed garden. We have, if you remember right, if you've seen the video, I planted about half of this section here is all potatoes. I planted about half of this with the potatoes that were left over from store-bought eaten potatoes, and I called them my experimental potatoes. And then on the other half here, I actually went out and bought some seed potatoes, just a few Yukon Gold and some red potatoes as well, to see, kind of compare how they did. And it's now October, so it's time to dig them up. They've been dead now you can see the plants have dried out. They've been dead for a week or two now. I kind of let them age a little bit, which is what they suggest you do, especially if you're going to store the potatoes. You can dig them up anytime and just use them and eat them within a couple days. But if you plan on storing them for the winter or storing them for any length of time, they want you to leave them in the bed after the plants have died off for a couple weeks, just to kind of harden up the roots or the potatoes. So I've left them a couple weeks, so I'm going to dig them up and see if I got anything. We'll see. Time will tell here after I dig them up what our production was like, but we'll get to doing that. To dig them up, I'm just going to use this pitchfork, and hopefully I don't stab too many of them. But I'm going to try and just loosen the dirt up with these, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start down here with the seed potatoes. A few here. Here's a nice one. Now you don't want to rub them down. You don't want to try and that one there is probably not the greatest. That one's pretty nice. You don't want to damage them at all. Try not to stab them with a pitchfork or anything. You don't want to mark them up at all. You don't want to even clean them off, because I'm going to let them sit for a little bit and dry. So we'll just stick those in here. Pretty dry out right now around here, so the ground is pretty hard. Even the raised bed part here is pretty hard to dig in. As I can see, having my problems. Let's just try and do her by hand here a little bit. All right, so we're continuing to dig up. You can see here I've dug up about half. I've dug up all the old all the seed potatoes, the ones that I bought that were actually for sale. There were the seed potatoes in the store that are supposed to grow all the potatoes. They were red and some Yukon Gold potatoes, and I pretty much dug to that. This section here is the experimental potatoes, and I'm just starting to get into them a little bit here. Didn't get a whole lot out of the seed potatoes. I mean, I got probably maybe 10 pounds between the two kinds. It's been very hard digging. That's kind of why I took a break from the camera, so you didn't have to watch all the struggling. It was a very slow and tedious process to dig this up. One thing I'm learning as I go from that I will do next year if I plant potatoes is amend the soil a lot more to make it not so compact, because it is what seemed soft and what seemed conditioned in the spring right now is rock hard. I mean, rock hard. It is very hard to dig up. And potatoes, I can get a potato in a clump like this, and just to break it out, this isn't too bad here, but some of the clumps have been like a rock to break it up, and I don't know that the potatoes would have grown real good in a lot of it anyways. But yeah, a lot of it is just, now it's breaking up in my hand now that it's loose, but as one solid section of dirt, it's rock hard. So I mean, it's been dry too, that hasn't helped. But next year, lesson learned, I will amend the soil a lot more where I plant my potatoes, so it'll be a lot easier digging, and probably they'll grow a lot better themselves too. So we're going to continue on here. I'll show you here, because I kind of got a process going now that I've got a section dug out. I can get underneath these ones, kind of lift them up as one big section here, and I'm just starting to run into the store-bought potatoes, the ones I planted just from being left over from the eating table. So we'll get started back on that again. I also got a bigger shovel, which seemed to help. The pitchfork, it was just too hard of dirt for the pitchfork to do anything. It just wanted to, and it's a very old pitchfork, and I didn't want to break it. So we're going to move on to this, see what we find. There's some. All I'm doing is really just trying to loosen the soil up, because this is what I'm running into. Hard stuff like that, and it's coming out as big lumps of soil. There's a potato. Instead of breaking up easily, and so far, what I'm finding is, I think the store-bought potatoes have outperformed the seed potatoes. I seem to be running into a lot more of the store-bought potatoes. We get some big ones and we get some little ones. Here's a good one. Nice sized potato there. See how hard the ground is. It just sticks to the potatoes around there. gosh. Everything all dirty here. I got a rock of potatoes here. Okay, we're done digging here. We got probably about 30 pounds of potatoes. This thing's about that full. Did pretty good. The all I spent basically was about $1 on a few little leftover seed potatoes for that side. I maybe got 10 pounds of seed potatoes, and I probably got 20 pounds of the store-bought potatoes. So I would definitely try that again, planting the leftover potatoes if they go to seed from the kitchen, because they actually outproduce the seed potatoes that I planted. So they're probably about 2 to 1 on that. So it actually worked out pretty good. Got some nice sized potatoes in there. Got some even bigger than that. But got some red ones, got some Yukon Gold ones. Probably I got the Idaho ones, more of those from the kitchen. And then the red potatoes next, and then I got a few Yukon Golds. They didn't grow real well, because I planted the same number of Yukon Gold and red, and I probably got 2 to 1 on those too. I probably got 2 times more red potatoes than I did Yukon Gold. But ground was hard. Like I said earlier, I probably will amend it better if I go to do this again next year. It's going to be maybe get some sand in it, and definitely get some compost and stuff in there to really loosen this up. And I think I would get a lot better production even out of that once I do that. So lesson learned. We'll do it again next year though, because I'm actually pretty happy with what turned out, especially from the store-bought ones, because I wasn't expecting hardly anything from them, and it turned out that they did really well. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Catch up with me on Facebook, and if your back ain't hurting, you ain't working.